Hi, I'm Katie and welcome to episode 24 of mydenmarktv.com. We hope you had as much fun last week looking at the low-cost special as we had making it. But this week we're going to take another look at the Copenhagen stock markets and investment tips. We're also going to tell you why a promotional event has become almost like a national holiday in Denmark. We'll be pounding the pavements while wearing our headphones, and we're going to give you some tips on, if you're living and working in Denmark, how to get your vacation money. But first, did you know that Denmark is home to the world's largest offshore wind farm? It's called Horns Rev 2 and it's located way out west off the coast of Jutland. Now, annually it produces enough power for 200,000 Danish homes. We'll be looking a little bit more at renewable energy efforts at the end of the show, but until then, question a few weeks ago about the Copenhagen stock market prompted us to look into the topic in more detail. Now, while we try to give you all the answers, sometimes we like to draft in experts to help us out. So a few weeks ago, I went to visit with Henrik Drusebjerg of Nordea Bank, who told us a little bit more in depth about the Copenhagen stock market. I'm here with Henrik Drusebjerg, a senior strategist with Nordea Bank, who's going to give us a little bit more expert opinion on investing in Denmark. Thank you for being with us today, Henrik. Do you have any tips for how one should invest in the Danish stock market?
Well, as long as you can get an account in a Danish bank, you should be able to do this. And then you should, of course, seek some advice, because starting this on your own hand could be very, very difficult and very dangerous.
Can you tell us about the general health of companies that are on the Copenhagen Stock Exchange, and have they been badly affected by the crisis of 2008?
It was very badly affected by the crisis of 2008. Actually, it was one of the worst performing in the world, but also been one of the most or quickest rebounding in the world. So since March 9th, we've seen an increase of 60%.
Are there any particular regulations that foreigners should be aware of when investing in Denmark?
No, not really. What you really should consider investing in Danish equities is that the Danish equity market is a very narrow market, really drawn by three companies, in particular AP Møller being one of the biggest, Vestas and Novo. So investing in Danish equities could be a very narrow investment, and you should of course be aware of that.
And is it difficult for people who don't speak the language to follow stocks in the Danish stock market?
That will of course make things a bit more difficult. By far the most information will be in Danish, but most bankers should be able to explain things in English, so information is available, but it will be a bit more difficult.
And are there any particular industries that have been performing well of late?
What we've seen since the recovery March 9th, it's particularly the cyclical companies that has been performing well. A bit untypical really, because I think there's still a lot of uncertainties, so our focus is drawn more to the more stable part of the equity market, the more defensive stocks like Medicare, like stable consumption, some of the more stable part of the equity market.
The end of October marked this year's first official day of snow. But I'm not talking about the weather, it's J-Day. What's J-Day? It's a promotional event that the Danish beer maker Tuborg sponsors every year to celebrate the release of their Christmas beer called Julebryg. Every year they make a really big deal out of the launch, with special musical trucks and Santa's helpers delivering the beer to bars across the country at exactly 9:01 on J-Day. Even though everyone knows it's an obvious PR stunt, a lot of things get involved. Dressing up and singing Christmas songs, as J-Day usually means free rounds of beer for everyone in the pub. So if you are in Denmark next year and hear about the J-Day, keep an eye out for the free blue beers.
Do you love vacation? Yeah, of course you do. Look at the picture behind me. But do you know who loves it the most? The Danes. Why do I say that? That's because Danes have the right to 5 weeks paid vacation every year, which is guaranteed by Danish government. In Danish, they call it Feriepenge. Direct translation is vacation money. What is this vacation money? Well, it means you can get paid to go on holiday. But the rules are quite complicated. Some of us have been living here for so many years, but still have a hard time understanding the rules. That's why I'm here today to give you a general overview. Vacation money is an extra 12.5% of your whole year salary. And this amount of money can also be translated into days. So 12.5% of the whole year salary is equal to 25 days. That's where the 5 weeks come from. You will save up this vacation money for a whole year and use it for next year. Okay, I hope this was clear enough. And if you are already planning your holiday, I think Katie might have something interesting for you.
If you decide to spend some of your vacation time in Copenhagen but want something a little different than the usual hop-on, hop-off bus tour, or joining a walking group and trying to hear the tour guide over a crowd of 30 people, then maybe you want to try go it alone. More and more companies are offering free downloadable podcasts for walking tours that you can take by yourself around the city. It's so simple. You just go to one of the websites, download the podcast to your MP3 player, pop in your headphones and off you go. If architecture is your thing, then maybe you want to try the Copenhagen X website, where you have the head of the Danish Architecture Centre and a former US ambassador to Denmark telling you all about the fantastic architecture of Copenhagen. Or if you're looking for a more general touristy type tour, then maybe Audio Walks is for you. For about 29 kroner, which isn't very expensive, you can download a free tour of the city and it'll take you to all the best and favourite sites. And don't worry, all of the websites have a map that you can download as well, so you don't get lost on your tour. See you later. Well, that was a long tour, but definitely worth it. Now, this week's question comes from Christopher Hansen, who wants to know more about a particular Danish island that has a focus on green energy. Well, Christopher, the island you're thinking of is Samsø, which is about 100 kilometres that way, just north of the island of Fyn in the Kattegat Sea. It was an island that in the late 90s was very dependent on oil and electricity shipped from the mainland, but it became part of a government project to go green. The island's 4,300 residents now, with the help of land and offshore windmills, produce more energy than they actually need and have started shipping it back to the mainland. And with the help of straw burning and wood pellet burning district heating plants, they're well set up and they've become a great example of renewable energy. Now, that's it for this week, but I hope you'll join us again next week when we're going to be taking a look at free places around the city where you can connect to the internet via wireless. Until then, feel free to check out our website, mydenmarktv.com, where you can subscribe to the show, share your favourite episode with friends or family, or comment on an episode. Ask us a question. Please get in touch because we'd love to hear from you. Until next time, bye-bye. We're going to take a look more at the low-cost special last week as much. It's called Horns Rev tow, and it's about... I need to speak English, not Danish.